Hey everybody, welcome to another Quick Blast Tuesday edition of Heavy Metallurgy. I've got my awesome host, Mr. Allen. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers, Marty. How are we doing this evening?
Doing just fine. And tonight we're going to be discussing our album of the day.
Yep.
And yeah, these are just a little quicker, a little shorter format videos. Tomorrow night will be a little bit longer. We'll be doing the metal or the album club. We'll be dissecting a Destruction's new album. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Diabolical.
That's it.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say we were going to be talking about a dissection album. I'm like, oh crap, I'm listening to the wrong thing.
No,
I was supposed to play Rain Chaos all week. I didn't.
Not that scattered. I'll never be that scattered to want to listen to that one. But yeah, so we're here tonight with you guys, and we appreciate y'all coming around. And Alan, is there anything we need to discuss before we jump into this little short video?
I don't think there's too much. As folks are trickling in, we can mention show notes for Friday night. We do have Simon and Melanie lined up to come join us. However, Melanie is a little under the weather right now, so there may be a last minute change. I don't know if the three, you, me, and Simon will carry on, or if we'll see about rescheduling, maybe pushing that back a week. It depends on everybody's schedules at that point. Also, will just depend on how Melanie's feeling. If she's feeling A-okay, well, then everything will be just fine. But yeah, just didn't want to give folks an early heads up that we may have to do sort of a last second change there. It's just going to depend on how she's feeling day to day. Melanie, if you're watching, hope you're feeling better.
Yes.
Sorry you feel cruddy. It happens from time to time, but we'll work with you, of course. And if you can't join us this Friday, we'll find another Friday soon when you're back to 100%.
We will figure it out. Nothing here is set in stone. We can do an audible, no problem.
Yep, that we can. Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, and we've been talking to Andrew from Iron Flame about coming on for one of these Quick Blast Tuesdays. He's not available this week, but we'll get him lined up in the near future whenever calendars align, and talk about the new Iron Flame album, which I have heard a couple of times, and it is freaking awesome.
Well, I still haven't spun. I've got it in my shopping cart. I just haven't pulled the trigger. I need to do it. I'll do that tonight.
Good. It's I mean, it's one of those. It's released. I'm expecting it to be good, and I played it, and literally like halfway through, I'm just like, whoa, this is a lot better than I even thought it was going to be. So, yeah, be exciting to play that one some more and then talk to Andrew about it in the near future. And awesome. Let's see, other metal news from around. May not affect anybody watching tonight, but Prog Power has announced a couple of cancellations. They've had two bands that were unable to get visas and such lined up. So I believe the two bands affected are called Eclipse, who I'm not familiar with, and Crazy Licks. Crazy Licks is a Swedish band that leans actually kind of more glamish. I've got one CD by them. I think you may have sent it to me, Marty. They're, traditional metal-y, but, parts of it definitely kind of lean more Guns N' Roses-ish almost at times. It's not bad for what it is, but yeah, I kind of think of them as like, almost a little bit more of like a modern glam metal band than power metal. So kind of an odd one to be on the bill in the first place. Stinks for folks that were wanting to see them in Atlanta. But yeah, in case you had missed that, if you were planning on going to Prog Power specifically to see one or both of those bands, yeah, you will have to proceed as best you can with that.
I was under the impression that Prog Power happened a month ago. Where was I at? Apparently, I'm
way off on their timing. Used to, it was always kind of a late summer, early fall festival, and yeah, I don't know if they got off schedule, if they've tried doing two at once, if these are just. They announced the schedule, for the next event way in advance. So I don't know if these are just two very early cancellations and the next one is still a few months away. Yeah, I'm not sure on the schedule. I just know that whenever the next Prog Power is, those two bands have already had to drop from the bill. Oh, let's see. Mel saying it's Yeah, so it's going to be the 2023 lineup, and bands are already, I guess, having to back out.
Okay, so Prague Power has happened then. I was right. Okay.
One has happened, and
Okay.
they're getting ready for the next one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought
And
the
another
last one
thing,
was going to be the last one, but apparently not, huh?
Glenn has said, I mean, he hasn't just hinted at it. He has said flat out, and he's been saying this for a while, that he's going to bring Prague Power to an end within the next couple of iterations. That even I think that was starting to be a conversation even before COVID happened. That he was, he's done it for a long time. They're on 26 or something now, 24. Maybe he's trying to get to 25 and then call it a day. But so he's been doing it for a couple of decades, and yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of hassles and a lot of headaches, like having two of your bands drop out and then having hundreds of people yelling at you like it's your fault they couldn't get all their visas and work passports and stuff done. So yeah, he is he's definitely looking at making it end within the next couple of years. So,
and I can't say that I blame anybody that wants to pull the cord on something. I mean, even the MDF guys, I mean,
yep.
Although that went off, I mean, you look at the crowds, it was insane. There was such an insane turnout for this past fest.
No doubt.
But God, I can't imagine. It's got to be difficult trying to coordinate, US bands to come and play the show, let alone bring talent from overseas as well, which,
oh yeah,
a lot of people here want to see that. If a big band comes over from Europe, hell, that's a big draw. And then all of a sudden at the last end, visa problems or vaccine problems or COVID problems or whatever problems, it as a promoter, I mean, you just got to pull your hair out. It's got to be awful. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, and Melissa's comment here is right. Glenn has always done a very nice job with Prague Power. He does a very good job of keeping people updated quickly when there is a problem. It's never one of these things where it's hidden. Like you get there and all of a sudden it's like, where's this band? Oh, well, we had to, we never actually got them on board, right? It's not some Jack Koshnick bullshit where you announce bands that you haven't even signed a contract with.
He was the worst, man. He was the worst.
Yeah, it was a jerk. But Glenn's always done a good job with it. But even if it's going relatively smoothly, I can imagine after 20 plus years, I mean, that is a long time to be, constantly putting something like that together. So. Yep. I'm hoping maybe, for one of the last ones, you'll be able to put something really, really big together. While I like Prague Power and it's a very well-run show, I always feel like they need one or two other big attraction bands on the bill. I always feel like it's one or two bands I kind of like and 8 bands I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And when you start figuring, the tickets are not cheap. It's not a cheap festival to go to.
Yep.
And by the time you factor in the tickets, hotels for a couple of nights, food. And all that kind of stuff, those festivals are not cheap to go to. And, for, me and the wife to both go, then it's everything times 2. And, a lot of years it's very hard to justify going for 2 bands that are like, oh, okay, they're not bad. Oh, okay, they're not bad. Oh, who the fuck are the rest of these people? I have no idea. I check a lot of them out and some of them sound good and some of them sound kind of, mediocre. Do we want to drop $1,000 on 2 thumbs up and a bunch of mediocres? It's a hard decision. We've gone and we've enjoyed it, but it's hard to do. I'm kind of hoping he'll try to pull out all the stops and just bring in like a real blockbuster lineup for one of his last years. But again, a lot of that's out of his hands. It's whatever the touring cycle and schedule works out, and even then, you can have a great lineup set and things can fall apart pretty quickly too.
Yep.
Don't know. If he brings Atlantean Codex, I will go no fucking matter what. I've already told Mel, it's just like, if he ever puts Atlantean Codex on the bill, we buy the tickets immediately. No questions asked. We will sort it out. I'm going.
Did you see the Rock Palast link I sent you?
I watched a little bit of it. I haven't watched the whole thing.
They're really good live. They're really good.
I've seen a couple of other live shows from them, and I've got some of their live albums. Yep, they sound good. They sound very good. But yes, if he can bring them to the US, he can have my money. I will hit their merch booth. I will buy every shirt they have. I will feed that economy, Glenn, if you bring Atlantean Codex to Atlanta for one of your last shindigs.
Here's one thing Steve has mentioned here in the comments. Judas Priest is coming to Corbin, Kentucky in November. Its floor tickets for one ticket is $500. Absolutely crazy. You know, that's kind of what you're getting into when you're getting into stadium legacy bands. And
yeah, you are.
And especially you start looking at a band, you know, Metallica's probably still has some years ahead of them in performing, but Priest, I'm starting to get the impression, I mean, there's probably going to be another album, but I'm getting the impression we're getting real close to a victory lap. You know what I mean? A victory nod, and you start seeing $500 floor tickets. That to me is saying they're bankrolling for retirement, which, man, they've served us for many longer than I've been alive, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I saw them back-to-back nights in Texas, and was literally like, at the edge of the stage, if just a couple of sweaty rednecks back from the edge of the stage, and I think we paid $16 a night. So
that was with Ripper, though, wasn't it? Was
that was, yeah, that was mid-90s Ripper era, but still 500. People do actually. A fellow I know, him and his brother paid, I think it was about $500 a piece for tickets to see Priest and Queensryche on the last, when they were touring together, I think in February. It was back during the winter, and they're not even heavy metal fans, really. But they had that same thing. So it's like, that's probably the last chance to see that band. Queensryche may stick around, but they paid $500. It was several hundred per ticket. It may not have been 500, but they each paid several hundred a ticket to go see what they were thinking is, going to be one of Priest's last big outings. Just like, that's really cool. I'm glad you went and saw it. That's pretty neat. I can't fathom paying $500 to watch a band I'm not even that into, though.
$500, Rob better come down and give me a lap dance wearing those chaps he was wearing on his Instagram feed here a couple months ago. I want a lap dance from Daddy Helford, please.
Get a nice close look at his most recent tattoo.
Perfect. Yep. I'm paying. I want it.
yeah. On the Ripper tour, I got a couple of bass picks from Ian. For this, I better get his fucking bass.
Yeah, right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I agree, Steve. I can't go to concerts that cost that kind of money either. To those who can, power to you. I hope you have a great time. Absolutely no hard feelings, but it's out of my price range for sure. I'll have to watch them on the YouTubes.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, it's amazing that Richie Faulkner is still even with us, considering what he went through health-wise and finished a song. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. People typically die from what he had.
Yep. Yeah, they've had their share of health issues, and folks having to rotate out due to health issues and such. It's a thing.
It's amazing. People in talking in here, Priest 78, Metallica, and I have been to one pseudo stadium show, and it used to be called Pine Knob in Detroit. It's now called the DTE Energy Theater, I think. It's like an amphitheater type of place with grass lawn in the back. So it isn't even a stadium. I've never been, nor do I ever really have the desire to go see a stadium show. It just seems like not the right vibe for this stuff. I mean, I'm for something like Priest or Slayer. I mean, sure, yeah, Megadeth, I get it. But I mean, hell, I've seen like some crowd scanning of like even the Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard thing, and they're half empty stadiums. I mean, they're not playing to packs. I think the 80s have sailed, man. I mean, they're the people that are there were there in the 80s, I think. Oh, it's Pine Knob again. I didn't know that, Donald. Why would they? Well, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, and again, at these kind of prices, it's hard to fill a stadium. There's only so many people that can pay that. Even folks that want to go see them, make them $50, maybe even $100 tickets. Maybe you do fill that stadium.
Yep. And back in the 80s when they were doing it, it was filled with kids that could afford the ticket prices. Now it's all people that are successful, adult, later adults
Yep.
going that have had successful careers and stuff, and it kind of changes the demographic of the show. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a little more reserved, I guess. It just seems like a weird environment that just doesn't feel right to me. But yeah, what do I know? I had a great time at the Maiden show. That was great. It was great seeing Maiden, and they sounded amazing. But
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Melissa and I saw Maiden in one of those kind of outdoor places like what you're describing, where, there's regular seating up front, and then there's, like the lawn seating, so it's still open air technically. I think the only actual technical stadium show I did see AC/DC in Raleigh in a, indoor, like, where they're the Carolina Hurricanes, is that the name of their hockey team, where they play.
yeah,
So I guess that was kind of a stadium show. And we had a good time. It helped. I went with a pretty big group of people, so we all got beers and had a good time with it. But it is very different when rather than just like milling around and trying to get up to the stage, it's more like, okay, now let's look at the seating chart. Where is row C17? Oh, they're playing Hell's Bells. It does feel a little different.
And that's, Wade made a comment here. I've heard depending on the stadium and where you are, you can struggle to hear and see the bands in some of these large places. I mean, if you're in the back of a theater and the nose bleeds, or in the back of a stadium, you're watching the Videotrons, and the way the sound travels, it's weird. I said, you might as well just sit at home and watch it on YouTube. I mean, seriously, I don't know.
It's kind of a thing. It's like, if you're so far out, or your angle is so bad that the only way you can see it is to look at the big screen all night.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah, that's got to be kind of sour the experience. If I'm going to pay that much to be there, I want to be able to look at them and see them, not watch it on a big digital display, because I can do that sitting here in my underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And having pause it and go to the bathroom and not have some guy accidentally piss on your leg. Friendly fire, dude.
Or have a bunch of teenagers spill beer all over your wife because they're jumping up and down right behind her and pissing her off. And not that would ever happen. Just saying, theoretically.
Mel kicked their ass.
She pretty much almost
you'd hold her coat and she'd kick their ass.
I'm just sitting there watching. We're sitting there like, Maiden all this, and I kind of out of the corner of my eyes, and I was like, what the hell's wrong with her? She's like, oh my God, she's going after people behind us. Something I've missed.
Go get him, honey. Oh, Alan would not let me. Ooh, he held you back from whooping ass. I love it.
Not easily. She was not amused.
Right on.
Understandably so. All right. Well, we've wandered far and away from album.
We've wandered. We have, yes. Chatty tonight. Chatty bunch.
Chatty bunch indeed. But we should do what we came to do. Marty, do you want to do yours first tonight?
I have two. Is that a full pas, perhaps? I mean, I can whittle it down to one.
Did you call it albums of the day? Well, I tell you what, if you get two, I get two.
Let's each do two.
Okay. Give me a second. I'll be right back then.
All right. Well, I'll start off here. Last night, if any of you watch the Wednesday night shows with the Album Club, you'll remember Jim from Iwa's Recordings. Him and his family have been in town here. They hung out, and we had a metal night last night, and a bunch of guys came out and had some beers and listened to some music, and it went. The DJing went from one extreme to the other, but there was a good bit of time where we were in the Crest lane, and this was a big hit of the evening. Disrupts Unrest is a Boston-based band. One of the guys, Terry. Hold on a second. Terry Savastano went on to be in the band Grief, which is like a crusty sludge band. But this here is crust punk. A lot of D beat on it that even teeters into some grind moments. Dueling vocalists. There might even be, the main vocalists are Jay and Pete, and there's a third vocalist, Alyssa Murray. It's just really cool. Ultimate multiple vocalists always. It's kind of like the Extreme Noise Terror vibe. These guys are from the Boston area, I believe, and it's absolutely crushing crust, hardcore, however you want to swing it, grind. It's just really fierce, feral sounding stuff. And if you're not necessarily into punk, I mean, this is definitely punk heavy, but there's a lot of growl and grit in the guitars, which is kind of a thing for crust. So, I mean, if you're a metalhead true and through, you might pick up on the waves of Disrupt. This is a lot of social and political topics and a lot of meat is murder type of things. Obviously, it's kind of a grim, gross cover there for that point. But yeah, I mean, classic album. This is a classic album, and it's there's also a box set that I have that has all their recorded works with this album and a bunch of 7-inches too. But this was a hit last night. A couple of guys were scrambling to try to find it who had never heard it before. So it's cool to turn on, old metalheads to some crust punk on occasion too. But this was awesome, great, fun beer drinking stuff. So that was my first pick for the night.
That's a good one. Let's see. My first one, my original pull for this evening is this one, Twisted Tower Dyers, Crest of the Martyrs. So this is their third album. Great American power metal band, and they really have the American sound of power metal, even though they're late 90s and then into the 21st century. Their first two albums were pretty good. They were kind of having I feel like some issues with song structures, especially on the first album. Some of the songs went on a little too long. Some parts didn't quite fit together. They had some very good songs on it, but it just felt like they needed to kind of fine tune things a bit. And on this one, their third album, they kind of changed directions a little bit. They streamlined quite more, got the songs shorter, and they put in maybe a little bit of European flavored power metal. The choruses feel a little bit bigger. The guitar solos are a little bit more gallopy. The songs here, have a little bit more of a traditional power metal structure. Some people were a little disappointed by the change. They kind of liked the uniqueness of the first two albums, but I think the change overall worked very well for them. The album just sounds a lot tighter and a lot stronger, much bigger sound. Tony Taylor's voice was perfect for this kind of metal. They made a fourth album with Tony before he unfortunately was killed in an accident, and the band has stuck around. A lot of folks figured they might hang it up after Tony's passing, but they did recruit a new vocalist, and they're not very prolific. They've only done 2 albums in the past decade, but both of them are very, very good. And again, they sort of do old school American power metal with some European traits mixed into it. The songs all tend to be very sort of story based. They'll have one song about B-52s, one about some random horror movie, one about this, one about that. They kind of follow the same pattern Cage from San Diego do in terms of a lot of topical songwriting stuff you typically would expect heavy metal bands to cover. But yeah, this was the album that kind of helped define their direction ever since then. The first 2 albums certainly aren't bad. Folks should check them out if they get the chance. The fourth album is also good. I feel like that one's a little bit long-winded, especially compared to this one. This one's just got a lot of songs that shine really brightly, really good production to it. Lots of, chant, sing-along, huge, catchy choruses and hooks all over the place. So, yeah, if you like U.S. power metal and you haven't checked out this very overlooked and underrated band, check out Twisted Tower Dyer. Crest of the Martyrs gives you a great idea of what albums 3, 4, 5, and 6 kind of sound like.
Right on.
All right, Marty. So what is your second pick for the night?
All right. Well, we ended out the evening last night on, you just mentioned Shining Brightly. Well, this is one of those records that definitely shines brightly. A lot of fun. High spirits, Another Night.
Nice.
It was cool playing this for folks that hadn't heard it and seeing their eyebrows perk up. Our friend Chris Black this is pretty much the sole writer on all this stuff, I believe, and he has a band come in, but he's a great songwriter. I mean, there's a lot of 4/4, kind of stick to a formula type stuff, but the guitar work, the guitar harmonies, melodies, whatever, are exceptional. The guitar playing is great. The production of this is really bright, really sharp. The guitars just kind of explode off the out of the speakers. There's really crisp sound to them. A lot of the solo work is very Maiden-esque in a lot of ways, a lot of places, and without being a complete utter ripoff. It's just really well written, sharp, fun, positive. It's uplifting.
Yep.
It's just really good, fun rock and stuff to drink beer to. It's funny. Someone mentioned High Spirits in the chat. I'm like, oh man, that was my main pick. And then I'm like, oh, we were also listening to this. So I cheated tonight, folks. I grabbed two.
Yeah,
but
it's an awesome band, and yeah, that's a great album by them. And you're right, it's just fun, happy, upbeat stuff that it appeals to metalheads, but it's not a particularly heavy stuff. You can play that for folks that are just wanting good sort of faster rock music, and they're probably going to enjoy it. I feel like.
And Chris's vocals, I mean, is he a great singer? I mean, his style is really strange. He's like higher pitched, kind of a singing, kind of talking kind of style. It's his vocals blow me away? They don't, but he does it really well, and it fits the style of High Spirits perfectly. I mean, it's great. I mean, if you listen to other bands he's done, like Super Christ, that's kind of like his sarcastic, sleazy nod to Motorhead in a lot of ways, and
very fun band, by the way.
Fun band as well. And of course, Dawnbringer, which has got a bit more of a, heavier vibe to it. He's been in a bunch of bands, Actor, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
About 47 different projects going at any given time.
Yeah. He was a drummer for Knock Mystium for a little while back in the early days.
Yep, worked with them with Blake early on.
I mean, a lot of the records are good, but check out Another Night. I think this one was kind of where things kind of started really getting hot for this band. This came out in 2011 on High Spirits.
Yep, that's their second one, I believe.
Yep, and they toured Europe. They toured Germany anyway, and great band. This is a lot of fun. If you're like into that hard rock, pseudo, modern, old school metal vibe, and you have not heard High Spirits, it's fun. You're gonna have fun with it for sure.
Yeah, and the opening track on that album, Another Night in the City, that is one of those things that goes on every playlist. If I'm putting together a playlist and it's going to have the upbeat, drive fast, put a big smile on your face, push it to the floor kind of playlist, that song is always going to be on it. That is just such a killer, ripping song. One of the really great heavy metal songs written in the past 10 years or so.
Yep.
All right. Very nice pick. Very nice.
All right.
My alternate pick tonight, and I was going to put this on the shelf and wait a couple of weeks until we do this again, but since we're doing bonus material,
sorry.
It's all right. I picked this one, Riot's Fire Down Under. Obviously one of the classic Riot albums. It's their third. It's also their last with original vocalist Guy Speranza before he left and Rhett Forrester came in for a couple of albums. For a lot of folks, this is kind of native early Riot album, and understandably it's got a killer production. It's really bright, crisp, loud, in your face, and the album's got 3 absolute masterpiece tracks on it. Riot's been around forever. They've got a ton of great songs, and this album may contain their 3 best, and it's all jammed on side A. You've got Swords and Tequila as the opener, which of course is timeless. You've got the title track, Fire Down Under, which, especially by 1981 standards, is a real barn burner, real fast pace. And then track 4, you've got Outlaw, which is, a slower one, but yeah, just, a great, great killer tune. I have an interesting history with this album. I'm a huge Riot fan. I like the Guy Speranza era a ton. I'm going to commit a little bit of heresy here, though, and say that I've always felt this album is a wee bit overrated. Not bad. It is not a bad album at all. Oh, any album with those 3 songs on it, it cannot be bad.
Tim says, "Don't sell it, Alan."
Tim,
after your video today, that's kind of fucking apropos, by the way.
It's more apropos than you know, because this is my second copy of it. It just came in the mail today because I sold the original years and years ago on eBay.
Oh, Alan, you silly monkey.
Well, here's the thing with it. When you get past those 3 songs, there are some not so hot tracks on this album, which is why I say I think as an album, as a total package, it gets a little overhyped. For example, track 3 on side A, Feel the Same, is this real kind of laid back, almost got a little bit of a groovy 70s vibe to it. It doesn't, having it jammed in the middle of those other 3 timeless tracks, it feels way out of place. I've never liked that song, and I don't like its placement on the album. There's also, let's see, No Lies is also kind of draggy. The instrumental that ends the album, Flashbacks, makes no sense. I don't like ending on an instrumental to begin with, and this one has like live effects, and it sounds like, I don't know, radio broadcast talking or something. Makes no sense. It doesn't work, as an instrumental. They've had good instrumentals on other albums, but I don't like this one. There are other good tracks besides just the 3 big hit ones. Run for Your Life is a great track. I always get Don't Bring Me Down and Don't Hold Back mixed up. The song titles are too similar. They're mixed to each other. One of them I like better than the other. I think it's Don't Hold Back's the better one. Alter the King is one a lot of folks mention. I think it's a good track. I don't think it's on the same tier as Outlaw or Fire Down Under at all. It's a good album. I wanted to pick it back up. It's, of course, more than worth the price of admission just to get those 3 tracks, even if you don't like anything else on it. But I am going to say it's just a little bit overhyped. That while you can acknowledge there's some masterpieces on here, you got to also admit there's some tracks that don't quite measure up on it either. For my money personally, and I know I'm in the minority on this, when it comes to the Speranza era, I want to listen to Rock City. Rock City, I will take over this album as a full album. If I got to listen to the whole thing, start to finish, it's Rock City hands down. If I have to listen to just 3 particular songs, well, okay, sure, I'll take Fire Down Under then. But I think start to finish, Rock City is the better album from the Guy Speranza era. Nothing wrong with this one. Great sound, really punchy. And worth mentioning that I tend to forget how early this album came out. This is 1981 American metal. Lars is still somewhere in Europe playing with his tennis racket, as far as I know, in 1981. This is really, really early, and had a big impact in underground circles at that time. There's not a lot of American metal in those first couple of years in the 1980s, and Riot was already on their 3rd album, and they produced a really, really damn good one here. Even if the cover, it might be just a tad heavy on that seal. But that is my other one. I've got it back. I'm revisiting it. Yeah, I'm trying to convince myself that there's a lot of good tracks on there besides those 3. But I'm still finding that, there are reasons that I don't have this one rated as highly as Rock City. Rock City, I can't think of a bad track on Rock City. This one, there's a couple I could pass on. But a classic album, an essential album, and an important piece of American heavy metal history nonetheless.
And Alan, there's been people in here commenting on how they enjoyed your video that you launched today too. Yeah, everybody go check out Let's Talk Metal, the Let's Talk Metal channel. I forgot to put the link in the description this time.
That's all right.
Definitely go over and check out his new video. It's probably a topic that could get wider discussion for a lot of people, I think, for sure. It'd be a good response video type stuff for sure.
It could be. Yep. And yes, I'm glad folks are enjoying that. Everybody likes seeing other people make mistakes, it seems. Schadenfreude is a real thing.
And also, Alan sort of minorly broke the internet showing off a Vlad Tepes CD last Friday. There's several comments in the chat in the in the comments section saying, I can't believe he has applied to FSC.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a chance to follow up on those comments yet, but
I haven't either. I've looked at them on my phone, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and answer. So
yeah. A couple of folks were sort of surprised by that. It's just like, I do like raw black metal. I don't break it out very often, and I haven't been in the mood for it in a while. Is why I haven't shown a lot of it. But I don't mind that kind of stuff. There is more of it lurking on the shelves around there behind me, a little bit at least.
And also another thing of interest too, we've had a little spike in subscribers over the last week. And if you're a new subscriber, hey, welcome. And thank you very much for joining us in this little community we got going on here. A lot of awesome people in the chat. Don't be afraid. Jump in and interact. No one bites as far as I know.
Nope. We've got a good lively group hanging out in the chat almost all the time, and that's always fun. I mean, we've got 40 people listening to this, and all we're doing is album of the day and old men bitching about concert ticket prices. Yeah,
right.
But with that, I do believe it's about time we wrapped up this quick blast. It's been fun as always. So, folks, again, if you came in late, don't forget to join us tomorrow night on the Book Club Record Club edition to listen to us pick apart Destruction's Diabolical album. And we'll see you at, let's see, I believe Jim and Rick are joining us for this round. Am I correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So you'll have 4 guys nitpicking it instead of just Marty and I. And then again, Friday nights, we're scheduled to do some Keep or Reap in extreme metal. That'd be Black Death and the heavier end of thrash. Maybe some Doom, Death, Funeral Doom too. Going to be hoping to do that with both Simon and Melanie from Explosive Action and Melanie Loves Death Metal, respectively. But we do have to see if Melanie's feeling better. Hopefully, she gets over her ick and we'll be back to 100%. But if not, we'll change it on the fly. We'll still have something fun for everybody to watch and participate in the chat on Friday night too.
Absolutely. But you all rule. Thank you so much, Alan. As always, thank you. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you all tomorrow night.
Indeed. Until then, everybody have fun and go listen to some Seal metal. Absolutely.
Well, it wasn't the chicken thing I was expecting, but
this Seal kicks that drunk chicken's ass.
Awesome. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Take care.
See y'all.